welcome to Kids Yoga class. I'll be teaching this class for today. My name is Jackie and so we're gonna begin. I want to start off with the theme of ahimsa, which translates to non-violence or non-harming. And yoga is all about practicing love, not harm for yourself and not for others. It is a reminder that all actions come from a place of love, and that at the heart of yoga is love. Violence is not just an action that we do, it is also a state of mind. And when our thoughts reflect the loving and acceptance of others and ourselves, we flow from a place of kindness and serenity. Try to take this feeling all on and off the mat as well, as yoga, the true practice of yoga, happens off the mat and is shown by how we move throughout our day. First, I want to start off with a breathing exercise, so feel free to follow along. Okay, so for the exercise, stand on both of your feet and with your feet parallel to each other and your arms by your sides. We're gonna do a few breaths. Inhale, and while you inhale, swing your arms back and forth, and be sure to keep reminding yourself to inhale. And then exhale, bend forward and release and say ah while you bend down. So ah, and then slowly rise back up. Slowly, one by one, your back can slowly rise up into standing mountain pose. And yeah, and then after slow breaths. And then now I'm going to read a folk tale and incorporate yoga poses into the story. So the story I'll be sharing with you all is called The Flowery Dragon. When I say a word that refers to a yoga pose, we'll be doing the yoga pose together. The Flowery Dragon. Long ago in China, there lived a poor widow and her only daughter. Their life was very hard for them, and they had very little to eat. One day the widow gave in to despair. Dear Pear Blossom. So Pear Blossom is a type of flower. We're going to do flower pose. So this is flower pose. So we'll be doing flower pose, and I'll be guiding us through it. So sit, hold on. Okay, so sit cross-legged on the mat, and feel free to, if you can, place one foot on your knee, and then the other foot on the other knee, and then if you can, or if not, you can sit in cross-legged position, and place both of your hands, your thumb and your pointer finger together, and then place them on your knees, and make sure your back is lengthened straight and your neck is lengthened and look straight. And then that's flower pose. And then, okay, so Dear Pear Blossom, she sobbed, we are lost. We have almost no food and no more money. What shall become of us? Pear Blossom, so we're gonna go into the pose again. So cross your legs and then put both of your thumbs and your pointer finger together on your knees and sit up straight. Knelt before her mother. Don't worry, I will travel to see you, your wealthy brother in the city. Surely he will help us, his only sister and her child. The mother shook her head. No, child, the way to the city is filled with danger. But Pear Blossom was determined. Honorable mother, I'll be swift and careful. I'll be home before the roses have wilted, and we will be saved. Her mother could think of no other way to help them, and so sadly she sent her Pear Blossom on her way to the great city. So Pear Blossom, the pose for flower. After many hours, Pear Blossom came upon a garden more beautiful than any she had ever seen. Behind the garden walls, she saw three sisters wearing pretty clothes and playing happily amid a sea of red poppies. Suddenly, one of the girls spotted a butterfly. So butterfly pose is, so this is butterfly pose, and yeah, so this is what the pose we'll be doing. So basically, you sit down on your bottom, and you place both of your feet together in Instead of crossing your legs, you place both feet together and place your hands on your feet. And then you can flutter like a butterfly by flapping your wings, which are your legs. And yeah, or you can just let them stay still and sit up straight. Or you can try to fold over and bend slightly, and that's a butterfly pose. And okay, look, she cried, and the sisters began to chase it. It fluttered this way and that, trying to escape their grasp. Pear Blossom darted into the garden, catching the poor creature in her cupped hands. Give it to us, the sisters demanded. It's our garden. Pear Blossom shook her head. The butterfly, so we're going to do butterfly pose again. So butterfly pose, okay. The butterfly must fly free, she said as she let it go, fanning the warm air to help the creature fly away more quickly. The girls were furious. I am on my way to the home of the city, of my rich uncle who lives in the city. The girls only laughed. You cannot go to the city. The golden dragon, so since there's a dragon pose, we'll be doing dragon pose, which is this pose. Yeah, so I'll be leading us through it. So stand on your knees, arms at your side. So standing on your knees, arms by your side. Place one leg, one knee in front, and place your knee over your ankle so that it's right directly over. And then place the other leg behind you and raise your arms, so both arms straight up to the sky. And this is dragon pose. We'll be doing it on the other side as well. So once you're ready, place your arms down and then place the other leg in front with your knee over your ankle and bend slightly forward on your hips, and then place your arms up overhead. And this is dragon pose on the other side. Okay, and then, so that's dragon pose. The golden dragon who lives on a mountain outside the city will gobble you up when you try to pass his cave. He breathes his fire and smoke and allows no one to pass his cave. Giggling, the girls ran back into their house. Pear Blossom wondered what to do. Suddenly, Butterfly Fairy appeared. So, butterfly pose. Okay, so this is butterfly pose again. Okay, so Butterfly Fairy appeared. Don't fear, Pear Blossom, the fairy said. You saved my life and I will save yours. I know how to soothe the dragon. His hot breath has burned the ground near his cave and flowers do not grow there. But the golden dragon, so we're going to do dragon pose again. This time we'll be doing twisting dragon. So twisting dragon is this pose. Yeah, so we'll be doing this pose, and so this is this pose. So it's the same as dragon, except we'll be twisting. So place one knee on behind you and then the other knee in front, and place your hips down and lean forward, and then place your hands on your knee, and then once you're ready, you can place one, the opposite, the leg that's in front, place the same arm forward. So if your left leg is in front, place your left arm on the ground and place your other arm up and then twist so that you're facing this direction, and then place the other leg in front and bend at the knee and place your knee on top of your ankle, and then place the other arm up and raise your arm, and then twist to the left side and then lower down and then release your knees. So that's dragon pose. And okay. Okay. The golden dragon who lives on the mountain outside the city will gobble you up when you try to pass. Giggling, the girls ran back into their house. Pear Blossom wondered what to do. Suddenly, Butterfly Fairy appeared. Don't fear, Pear Blossom, the fairy said. You saved my life, and I will save yours. I know how to soothe the dragon. His hot breath has burned the earth near his cave, and the flowers do not grow there. But the golden dragon loves flowers. Take this bouquet to him and ask for his kindness. She handed Pear Blossom a bouquet of the fragrant flowers. Pear Blossom, so we're going to try flower pose again. Okay, so this time we'll place our hands together. So flower pose, we'll be crossing our legs and placing our hands clasped in front of us in front of our heart center and closing our eyes. So that's flower pose. And then to get out of flower pose, we just open our eyes and release our arms. And then Pear Blossom thanked the fairy and walked on. Before long, she came to the foot of the mountain. So now we'll be doing mountain pose. This is mountain pose for us all to see. And okay, so it's standing pose, but we'll be doing a very a grounded mountain pose. So stand with your feet parallel to your shoulders and stand straight up, and then look, face forward. Make sure your shoulders are down. They're not high, but they're raised lowered down to your sides, and then place your hands. Make sure they're not stiff, but like make sure they're all relaxed, and make sure your neck is not tense, and relax your neck. Face forward and breathe. Okay, that's mountain pose. She could hear the dragon's roar. So we're gonna try dragon pose again, and we're gonna do this pose, the dragon pose. And so I'll be leading it, guiding it through again. So dragon pose will be placing one knee in front of the other leg and placing the knee above the ankle, and then placing our hands on our knee first to start, and then we're going to be raising it up straight and up into the ceiling, and then we're facing forward, and that's dragon pose. And then of course we have to try the other side. So place the other knee in front and place the knee in front of on top of the ankle, so it's directly above and it's parallel to the floor, and then make sure your hands are up to the sky, face forward, and then drop them when you're ready to release. Okay. She could hear the dragon's roar and trembled as she climbed over. When she reached the top, the dragon rushed from his cave. "Who goes there?" he roared. "Honorable dragon," Pear Blossom said, "I have brought you flowers." She handed him the bouquet. "You are very fierce," she said softly, "but I want you to promise me you'll never scare anyone again. If you stop roaring, your flowers will grow." The dragon lowered his head and sniffed the bouquet. He was so moved by the kind gift that he promised he would be kinder. "Thank you, dragon," she said, "and now I'll be on my way." "Wait," the dragon said, and he went back into his cave. He returned carrying 3 golden necklaces sparkling with jewels. You are the first person who has ever been kind enough to give me a gift. I give you these in gratitude." Pear Blossom thanked the dragon and walked on. When she arrived at her uncle's house, Ming's house, she bowed before him. "Honorable uncle, my poor mother, your sister, has no money to pay for food. We are starving. Won't you help us?" "Do you think I am made of money?" he cried. "Honorable uncle, I have traveled far to see you. I came past the cave of the golden dragon. Look, the dragon gave these to me because I gave him flowers," and she showed him her necklaces. When Ming saw these, he grabbed some flowers from a vase and set off without saying another word to Pear Blossom. He ran as fast as he was able, but that wasn't very fast because he was quite fat. At last he came to the dragon's cave, huffing and puffing. "Dragon," he panted, I have brought you flowers, and now I want you to give me jewels." But the flowers Ming handed to the dragon were wilted. The dragon roared with fury and chased him all the way down the mountain. So now we're going to do mountain pose again. So we'll be standing in mountain pose. So mountain pose, we'll be standing straight, tall, and place your feet parallel to your, or directly below your shoulders, and place your arms by your side and your neck long and relaxed, and then gazing forward, and that's mountain pose. Okay. Meanwhile, news of Pear Blossom's necklaces had reached the emperors of China. She sent for the child, and when she saw the necklaces, she gasped with admiration. "Honorable Empress, allow me to give these to you," Pear Blossom said. "I have no need for precious jewels. Please accept them as a gift from me and my poor mother." When the Empress heard of the story of Pear Blossom's journey and the way she had calmed the golden dragon, she invited her and her mother to live in luxury in her court, and so they did. The golden dragon remained in his cave, but he was peaceful, for everyday butterfly fairy. So we're going to try butterfly pose again. So this is butterfly pose, and you can try it with me. So place your feet together and clasp your hands over your feet, and then wave or flutter your wings by flapping your legs, and then make sure you're sitting up straight and tall and lowering your shoulders, and that's butterfly pose. Okay, for every day, butterfly, fairy, and pear blossom visited him, and before long, his land grew thick with flowers. As for Uncle Ming, he had never again left his house, for when he tried, the dragon roared with fury and swore to harm the greedy, selfish man who had tried to give him wilted flowers. That's the end of the story. Now we're going to switch gears here and try a sequence of poses called sun salutations. Sun salutation is the building blocks of yoga, and it is to greet the sun for each and every day it does not fail to rise. Start in a seating position for 1 to 3 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to guide us through this, so sun salutation. So start in a seated position and make sure you're seated comfortably. Place your hands on your knees, or if you're sitting in cross-legged position, you can also place your hands on your knees and breathe in slowly. You can close your eyes and just focus inward. So breathe slowly, inhale, take a deep breath out, exhale, and then once you're ready, you can go into tabletop pose. So tabletop pose is we'll be placing our hands below our shoulders and our knees below our hips. And this is tabletop pose. Make sure your back is straight. It's not arched or hunched the other way, but it's straight. And then you're facing down at the mat or forward. And then inhale. And then exhale, downward dog. So downward dog, we'll be placing our hips up and then raising, placing our feet on the mat and our hands on the mat, 4 points of contact, and then we'll be gazing down or gazing at our legs, and make sure you're bending you're making sure you're lengthening your back and looking back behind you. And then we'll be inhaling and placing our feet in front where our hands are, and then lowering into forward fold or elephant pose, and we'll be relaxing our hands on the mat and just lowering our backs and just relaxing here, taking a deep breath, and then slowly rising up into mountain pose, and then mountain pose, and then we'll be exhaling elephant pose. So exhaling, go back into elephant pose, and then slowly raise yourself back into, you'll be raising yourself into standing, but you'll be placing your hands on your shins and making sure you're halfway lifted by placing your back in a straight line, and slowly lower back into elephant pose. And then after elephant pose, we'll be going to plank. Okay, so plank, and then so once we are into plank, we're in plank pose. So make sure your back and legs are straight in one line, and raise your elbows or lower your shoulders, and making sure you're gazing at the mat. And then slowly lower your knees, your shoulders and chest down. So this is the heart opening pose, and then place your hands beside your shoulders, and then raising yourself into cobra pose. So this is cobra pose, and so make sure your back is arched and your shoulders are above your wrists. So shoulders above wrists, and then place your legs behind you and make sure they're lengthened, and feel free to relax your thighs on the mat and look straight. And then coming up on seated position, and then we're gonna go into downward dog. So downward dog once we're in cobra, and then we're gonna downward dog again, and then slowly lower into and then lower into elephant pose. So once we're in downward dog, we place our hands right where our hands are, legs where our hands are, and then slowly into elephant pose. And then we stand slowly up, like raising ourselves into standing pose, into mountain pose. So that was the sun's salutation, and you can repeat it if you want as well. And so that's how, yeah. And then you can also try speeding it up and going a bit faster, but making sure you're making sure that you're safe and you're not going too fast as to like, yeah. So that was sun salutation. So, and then next we're going to be doing a, I'm gonna tell a story, and we're gonna do some poses that are in the story. So, okay, with more yoga poses in it. So, okay, so here we go. Centuries ago, there were 3 best friends who lived in a village. The village people all called them the 3 warriors, as they had bravely fought many battles together, side by side. Each warrior had his or her own yoga pose, named after him or her by the king of the village, who had seen the acts of goodness each warrior had done. The first warrior, or warrior 1, was given this yoga pose, in which we should all try now. So warrior 1 pose is, so this is warrior 1 pose, and to do it, I'll be guiding us through. So warrior 1 will be placing our knees. We'll be standing on our knees first, and then placing, it's sort of like dragon pose, so we'll be starting in the same place. So placing one knee in front and the other knee back behind us, and then curling our, first we'll be curling our feet, our back foot, onto their toes, and then raising ourselves on our other back leg, and then placing our hands on our knee, and then raising your arms slowly into warrior 1, and make sure you're straight, you're looking straight forward, and yeah, your back is straight and you're looking straight, and this is warrior 1. And then to do the other side, we'll be going back and releasing into standing, kneeling, standing on your knees, and then we'll place the other leg in front, and where our knee is above our shin, our ankle, and then we'll place the other leg back and straight, and curling the toes up behind you so that we're on our toes on the back heel, and then we're placing our hands up high in the sky and then looking forward. So that's warrior 1 pose. And then to release, just place your hands on your knee and then slowly lower your other leg onto the knee, and then coming down into seated position. Okay, So a peaceful warrior is someone who walks their talk, inspiring others in their example. Can you think of anyone who is a peaceful warrior in your life? Can you be peaceful and determined? The second warrior, warrior 2, was given a different pose than warrior 1. This is the warrior 2 pose. So warrior 2 will be doing is this pose. So this is warrior 2 pose, and to do it, I'll be guiding us through. So it's like warrior 1, but our hands are placed at a T. So, but we'll be starting differently. So for warrior 2, we'll be placing our legs apart and placing our feet parallel to each other, but apart from more than hip width distance at a triangle shape, so like a triangle. And then we'll be placing our hands, we'll be placing one foot, the front foot in front, placing it forward, so facing this direction if you're on the same side as me, if you're placing your left leg in front, and then the other leg will be turned inwards, so the other foot will be turned inwards, and then we'll be facing forward, and then placing your hands so that they're in a T, and then bending your left knee if you're on your left leg is in front at a T, and making sure you're gazing straight and your knee is above your ankle, so you're not overextending your knee, and gazing straight. And this is warrior 2. And then to get out of the pose, you just lower your arms and then stand back up into a triangle, and then placing your your legs forward, and then slowly rise up into mountain pose. Okay, so, and then we'll be trying the other side. So the other side will be placing the other leg forward, or actually we'll be placing our legs in a triangle in mountain pose, but we'll be making sure that they're wider and we're facing the same direction, the facing forward, and then placing the other leg. Oh, so if I did my left leg before, I'll do my right leg now. So I'm gonna place my right leg forward, my right foot, and then placing the other foot inward, and then slowly facing forward, so this direction, and then we'll be placing our arms one in front of the other. So yeah, so we'll be placing it in a T, and then bending your other knee, your front leg knee, and into bended into parallel to the mat, and make sure your knee is above your ankle so that you're not overextending again, and making sure you're just balanced on that 2 legs and facing forward. So that's warrior 2, and then we release the pose by getting out, by standing up. And so I wanted us to reflect that how can you support yourself in feeling strong in body, heart, and mind? What does it mean to be trustworthy? And are you trustworthy? Finally, the third warrior, warrior 3, was given the last and final pose. So warrior 3 pose is different than warrior 1 and warrior 2 in that we'll be balancing on one leg. So this is warrior 3 pose, and to do it we'll be so first I'll be leading us through it. We'll be standing up in mountain pose, and then once we're in mountain pose, we'll be standing on one leg. So I'll be facing this direction. Stand on one leg and make sure your other leg is slightly bent, and then bring yourself forward while raising the other leg, and then make sure your other leg is lifted, and then you can slowly raise your arms back behind you and gaze down at the mat so that you can focus on one point on the floor or in front of you, and make sure it's not moving so that you can balance better. And stay here for a few breaths. So breathe in and then exhale. And then slowly lower your leg down. And then to do the other side, we'll just be raising the other leg up. So we'll be standing in mountain pose, and then slowly lowering your upper body while raising your leg, and then making sure your back and your leg are straight in one line, and raising your arms up, making sure you're focusing on one point on the mat or on the floor in front of you, and that's not moving, and then slowly lower down when you're ready to release. And that's the pose. So that's warrior 3. Okay. So be steady like a focused warrior. And so these 3 warrior friends had a pose that they would do with each other every time they met up. So this is a pose. So we'll be using a partner for this pose. I'll be grabbing my partner. So today I have a partner, so I'll be not using Medi Teddy for today in case you saw my previous videos, my previous classes. So first we'll be grabbing a partner. So this is the warrior friends pose. I'll be showing it to you. Do you know where the card is? Okay, anyways, we'll be showing you the pose. So, oh yeah. So this is the warrior friends pose, and this is the pose I'll be showing you guys. So for the yoga friends pose, we'll be placing our right leg forward and placing the right foot so that it's like the right foot is the same as the other partner, and then making sure you hold hands and then face the opposite direction of each other, and bending your front leg, front knee, so that it's above your ankles, and then looking at the opposite direction and making sure your back is straight and tall and your leg is lengthened, and so stay here for a few moments. You can and gaze forward, and then slowly you can lower, place your face forward again, and then stand up straight. Yeah, thank you, partner. Okay. And then, okay, so that was the pose that they would do. And this pose meant that they could trust each other with everything and anything, and that they had each other's backs. One day they were all put to the test on their friendship. They were trying to cross a bridge on their way to the market. So we're going to do bridge pose, just to show what a bridge looks like in yoga. So for a bridge pose, we'll be doing is, this is bridge pose. And to do the bridge pose, we'll be lying on our back first. So lie down on your back with your knees bent, and then place your palms and your on the floor, and then slowly, when you're ready, raise your hips up so that they're raised high, and make sure you're arched your back. And then you can clasp. You feel free to clasp your hands on the bottom or below your hips, and then raise your make sure you're looking up and not turning your head side to side, as it could hurt your neck. And then slowly, once you're ready to release, lower your hips down and place your legs on relax them on the mat. So that's bridge pose. And okay, so on their way to the market. However, while they were crossing, the bridge could not handle all their weight at once. Underneath the bridge was a river. So the river pose is, I'll be showing us, is this pose. So this is the river pose. And so I'll be showing it to us, and so this is how to do the river pose. Okay, so place your legs in front of you, straight out in front of you, and then slowly place lengthen your back straight up, and then once you're ready, you can grab your ankles, your shins, or your toes, and if you want, you can also bend your knees so that you can reach higher or reach longer on your legs and bend forward, and also, or you can also lengthen them and make them straight. But make sure your toes aren't pointed, but they're like flat against the space in front of you, and then grab your toes or your feet or a blocker in front of you, and then you can slowly lower your upper body and make sure you're gazing forward. And then slowly to release, just lower your hands and raise yourself back into seated position. That was the river pose. Okay, so underneath the bridge was a river that was so deep that they would drown if one fell through. The bridge broke as they tried to cross, leaving two warriors separate from the third warrior. Suddenly a dragon overhead. So we're going to do dragon pose again. So we're going to try twisted dragon. So the twisted dragon is this pose. So we'll try it again so that we can refresh our memory. So dragon pose, twisted dragon, we'll just be placing one knee. So it'll be like a high lunge we'll be sliding in. So place both your hands, place them on each side of your foot, and then place your other leg back on your knee, and then once you're ready, place your hands on your knee, and then slowly we can place if you're placing your left leg forward, you'll be placing your left arm on the ground, and then placing the other arm up in the sky, and then looking on the direction that you're facing, and then to go down, just raise your hand down onto the mat, and then release your leg. And then to do the other side, we'll just place the other knee forward and placing the other leg back, and then making sure your right arm is placed on the mat, and then your other arm is facing the opposite way and placing it high up to the sky. And that's twisting dragon pose. And then we're placing it back on the mat, and then place your knees back down and sit in a knee position on your knees. And so that's the dragon pose. Okay, suddenly a dragon overhead heard their despair and came to see what was going on. The dragon found the three warriors in terror. He offered the three warriors a deal. If they would give the dragon something he wanted, the dragon gave him the dragon they wanted. the dragon told warrior 1 and warrior 2. So let's try warrior 1 and warrior 2 again. Okay, so warrior 1 will be doing, and warrior 2. Okay, so warrior 1, so we'll be doing warrior 1 first, and then we'll be doing warrior 2. So these two friends, yeah, let's try the pose. Okay. So warrior 1 will just be placing, going first, we're going to start on our knees, standing on our knees, and then place one knee in front of the other, and make sure the knee is above the ankle, and then placing the other knee back behind you, and making sure we're leaning forward on our hips, and then slowly raise your knee so that curl your toes under, and then place the other leg straight up and back, and then placing both your arms in a T position, and making sure you're looking straight. And this is warrior 1. And then we should do the other side, of course. So we'll be placing the other leg forward and our knee above our ankle, and then the other leg back on our knee. And then slowly raise yourself on your back knee, and then raising your other arms forward and making sure you're in a T position and gazing straight, and then lower your back leg. So that's warrior 1. And then warrior 2, we'll be doing the same things with our leg, except we'll be doing a different arm position. So in the same knee and leg position, just raise yourself back up into the same legs. So we'll be placing our one knee in front and the other leg back straight behind you, and then raising both of our arms up straight, and then gazing straight in front of us. So that's warrior 2. And then to do the other side, just place the other leg forward and the other leg back, and then balancing on these two legs, and then raising our arms up straight overhead and gazing straight. So that's warrior 2. And then just to get out of the pose, release your legs and lower yourself down into seated position. Okay, so the dragon told warrior 1 and warrior 2 to go to the market and fetch him a swan. So the swan pose I'll be showing us again is, this is the swan pose. So for the swan pose, we'll just be doing is, we'll be lowering yourself in cobra pose. So first we'll start in cobra pose. And this is the cobra pose. If you guys remember from silent salutation, we'll be placing our shoulders above our wrists, and making sure our back is arched and we're looking straight, and our neck and back is lengthened. And then to do swan pose, we'll just be lifting our back legs, so the back, our back legs up, and making sure we're extending our neck, and then reaching our feet towards our head, and that's swan pose. And you can try to arch and try to reach your head. If not, you can also just, yeah. So that's swan pose. And then to get out, you just release your legs on the ground, on the mat, and then raising yourself to seated position. Okay, so the dragon told warrior 1 and warrior 2 to go to the market and fetch the swan. Fetch him a swan. This wasn't just any swan, but the pure shiny silver swan, and in return he would save warrior 3. So warrior 3 we'll be doing again is, this is warrior 3 again, so we'll be trying it again. So warrior 3 pose will just be standing straight in mountain pose, and then so we'll be standing straight in mountain pose, and then bending our upper body, and then slowly lifting one leg behind us so that we're in a straight angle, straight line, and then lowering, making sure we're looking down at the floor or the mat, and then placing both hands above where your hips and legs are lined up, and then making sure we're in a straight line and gazing at one point that's not moving, and then lowering our leg to get released from the pose. And then to do the opposite side, we'll just lift our opposite leg while lowering our upper body. And so this is the pose, so we'll be lifting our our back leg, and then gazing straight down at the mat, and lower, making sure we're one straight line. So that's the warrior 3. Okay. The 2 warriors set out to get the swan. On their way back, they found the dragon dead, lying in corpse pose. So we'll be trying corpse pose now. So corpse pose is this pose. So it looks just like lying down, and because maybe it is. And so we'll be, so this is my favorite pose, or one of my favorite poses, because it's really relaxing and you get to relax, and after a long day you can feel like you can just relax in corpse pose. So we'll be placing our hands and legs on the mat, making sure we've released all tension in our body, and making sure our back of our head is on the mat, and lengthening our neck, just releasing all sorts of stress from from any tension we have in our body, and releasing our hands, placing our hands so that our palms are facing up at the sky, and just closing our eyes if we want. So this is corpse pose, and you can stay for as long as you like. And then, so the next pose, okay, so on their way back, they found the dragon dead, lying in corpse pose. In shock, they ran to find warrior 3 hidden behind a huge rock across the dragon. So for rock pose, since I don't have the card with me, I'll just be guiding us through rock pose. And so it looks just like a rock. So rock pose will be kind of like child's pose, but we'll be placing our arms behind us. So place your toes together behind you and sit on your knees, and then place your knees right apart, and then slowly making sure your upper body and your chest is lowered, and then we'll be placing our hands behind us, and this is rock pose, and it's sort of looks like a rock, and you can be a little rock and feel sheltered from the world in your little rock. So this is rock pose, and just to release, just sit up and slowly come out of it. Okay, okay, so warrior 3 explained he had to shoot the dragon with an arrow, since the dragon was not really a dragon, but an evil spirit wanting to hurt him. So we're gonna do arrow pose. So arrow pose is it looks like an arrow, so we'll be doing this pose. I'll be guiding through it. Okay, so I'll be standing up on my knees. So first, stand up on your knees, and then make sure your hands are by your side, and then slowly place your one arm on the mat in the making sure that you're facing the same direction as your knee, and then placing the other leg back, and placing the other leg straight alongside your side, and placing your palm on the floor on the mat, and then raising your arm on top, just up to the sky, making sure you're straight. And this is arrow pose. And then to finally complete the pose, we'll place our other leg in front, like in plank pose. So this is side plank, and then placing our upper leg onto our knee, and then facing forward. And this is the arrow pose, and making sure we're so raising our hips up, and then to lower, just lower your hips and place your arms down and your knee down. And then we're going to try the other side, of course. So the other side, we'll be standing on our knees again, and then placing one leg to the side, and then placing the other arm down on the mat, and then raising our one arm up, the other arm up, and then placing the other leg down into side plank, and then raising the other leg into our knee, and making sure we're facing the same direction, and gazing straight. And then lower by slowly lowering your leg and arm, just to release. Okay, and that's arrow pose. Okay, so Warrior 3 explained he had to shoot the dragon with an arrow, since the dragon was not really a dragon, but an evil spirit wanting to hurt him. Relieved that their friend was safe, they decided to go back home to celebrate. So I wanted to share the story because I wanted to share the moral, which was that the moral of the story is to not be so trusting of strangers, because they can often, or not often, but they can sometimes be deceitful and try to lie to you to get what they want, and that even the most kindest strangers can appear nice and genuine, but we don't really know what their intentions are. So you should always be aware, wary, and cautious of people you don't really know. Okay, so for our final pose for today's class, we will rest in supported child's pose. And for this pose, we'll be needing a bolster or a blanket or pillow, whatever you have available. So supported pose just looks like a child's pose, but we'll be on our we'll be making sure our body is on top of a... Okay, since I don't have the card, I'll just show it to you guys. So this is my pillow or blanket, and I'll be resting here in child's pose. So place your knees opposite, or spread your knees wide, and place your ankles beside each other and your toes touching, and then slowly place your bolster in front of your waist, and then slowly lower down and place your head on your pillow, and then rest in supported child's pose here. So go inward and close your eyes if you want. You can place your head to one side, and then just go just relax and close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths here, just knowing that you just remembering the intention of non-violence and peace, and making sure that you keep that in mind when you go off to finish the class for today, and just remembering to be kind and to be really just be kind to everyone, including yourself. And so yeah, and then once you're ready, you can open your eyes and slowly sit up, and then so that's the end of the class for today. I hope you guys enjoyed class, and I look forward to teaching you all next week. Hope you all have a great day, and make sure you all get rest and feel safe and healthy. So I look forward to teaching again. I'll see you guys. Bye.